Hello and welcome to our 32nd pre-flight episode. I'm Gil Austin.
I'm Jason DeMarco.
And today, in celebration of all things October, we are going to be loosely Halloween themed, I guess.
I would say it's, it's horror themed.
We're going to be talking about the things that we like that scare us. First up is our new show, Parasite, premiering tomorrow night at 1 a.m.
Parasite, The Maxim.
The Maxim, which feels like a
dumb edition. Yeah.
magazine. But then we are going to be talking about some of our favorite horror TV shows and movies. Mm-hmm. We have a sneak peek look at this week's goodie. We have a bloom room from the exotic location of Hawaii. And we have a mobile on the move with Dana playing Hearthstone.
Whew, yeah, I know all about that.
You sound like a man who's been to the dark side of Hearthstone.
Dude,
and barely made it
you've
back.
never played Hearthstone.
No, I've played Hearthstone.
So
let's save the Hearthstone talk for the end of the show.
Okay.
Let's get into some Parasite.
All right.
First, which I don't know.
Parasite.
Parasite. We are excited to premiere Parasite tomorrow night at 1 a.m., this being on Friday. Our new broadcast time. Are you enjoying the Friday broadcast so far, Jason?
Yes, it's made a huge difference.
Does it seem like a totally different day
to
you?
It
does to me as well. How long have we been talking about Parasite? When did we? I did not. I had not seen Parasite until we were talking about getting.
I had heard about it, but I hadn't seen it. I actually had read the manga or some of it years ago. Like the manga came out in the 90s,
and
I remember,
old.
And even it's still retweeted into my Tumblr feed sometimes because it's got some pretty crazy images that people still sort of post. And I think I don't remember how I found it. I didn't read the whole thing. I just read some of it just because I was like, whoa, this is some crazy imagery.
Yeah, it looks great.
Body horror-wise. And I actually, when I heard about this show, I remember thinking, like, is that based on the manga? No, it's so many years later. Right. Surely not, but I was wrong. So and I didn't watch it, though, until we decided to get until we were thinking about getting the show, and I actually think it's really good. I'm really psyched about it.
It aired in Japan last year and into the beginning of this year, so we're right on top of it, fresh off the presses.
Better late than never, I always say. I like it. I think it's got a really interesting twist on body horror. It's like what's weird to me about it is it's got this incredibly weird, gory, The Thing style body horror, but then it's also sort of a goofy teenage thing, and then also they use it as a way to explore philosophical questions about what it means to be human and have emotions, and whether we're driven by genetics or our will. Like, it's like a crazy...
Yeah, I mean, it feels like it's going to be a straight horror show.
Yeah.
And it's deeper than that. It's layered.
But it's also lighter than that. Like, when there are times when people are getting their faces ripped off, but then there's, like, goofy, like, whoa, teenage humor. It's just the kind of thing that I think would only come from Japan, which I think is one of the reasons I like it.
Yeah.
But it's our second show from Sentai Filmworks, and they suggested it. And, of course, Toonami viewers let us know they liked it. So.
Yeah, and if you were paying attention to certain ice cream trucks at certain anime conventions, you found out a little
earlier than we intended, but that's okay. I'm just happy that they wanted to tell people.
Yeah, definitely.
Our good partners.
And we have we showed it on last week's broadcast, and
but you're going to see
throughout the
again.
Television broadcast week, as well as Toonami. But you're going to see it again. Our Parasite trailer that Johnny edited, and I went in and watched him edit from time to time.
I got a call from the school today. They said you left early.
Something happened?
Just felt a little sick, that's all. I can't tell Mom or Dad about this. I think I'm crazy.
What the hell is going on?
I can't tell anyone about this.
There a problem with your hand?
No, it's fine. I don't know how the hell you got in there, but you're coming out. What did you do to my hand?
I was eating it. I sense one of my own.
There's more of you?
Your host is not optimal.
It wants to fight.
What? You want to fight that thing?
There's no choice. If it kills you, I will die as well. We're in this together.
That one is dangerous. He must be eliminated.
This cannot be happening!
Did you just save my life?
The only life I consider important is my own, so I chose the safest option.
When I first took control of this human host, I instantly received a directive.
What did you do with my daughter?
To devour your entire species.
Parasite, starting Saturday at 1 a.m.
Looks like someone's terrified.
Get infected.
I like
Both terrified and infected.
I like the voice of Migi, the parasite, which means right because it's his right hand.
Yeah.
But in the manga, it was his left hand.
Oh, I don't think
I guess
knew
because
that.
of the manga format.
Yeah, it's
But yeah, great show. A really interesting premise, which is that, just broadly speaking, a bunch of alien parasites have landed on Earth and are infecting people's bodies.
wait.
And
This is happening now.
yes.
Okay.
And whoosh, and they take over their human host's brain and hide and pretend to be human, and they have to consume other humans for nutrients. So
Like you do.
The story of this show is that the parasite Migi tried to take over our main character, and he stopped it in time. So they basically live in a symbiotic relationship where they sort of feed into each other.
Yeah,
and
he wakes up, and that's in the trailer. Like he's waking up and sort of like, oh, what is that thing?
Yeah. And so that gives him unique powers to sense other parasites and just become aware of the larger conspiracy of things that are happening. But he's also a high school student who attends school, has
And
the
all
hots
the
for a girl.
waka-waka-ness that
yeah, the usual
entails.
Japanese sort of schoolboy
And
things.
the show sort of evolves as it goes along, but without totally spoiling how it happens.
I think it's great. It does. Migi, what's the main character's name?
Shinichi.
Migi and Shinichi have some really interesting philosophical discussions about, like, you know, Migi is trying to understand what it's like to be human, and Shinichi is trying to understand what it's like to be one of these parasites who think in a very emotionless, logical, you know, this is why I'm doing this kind of way,
Yeah, like I do.
remorseless. Yeah, like you. A remorseless
Cold,
killing
efficient
machine.
killing machine.
And it creates these interesting discussions that the two of them have, which I think gives the show more depth than otherwise. You could do a show like that and just come up with crazy, gross shit, and I'd still like it. But this show actually tries to mean something, which I appreciate. I think it's really good.
Yeah, and we have a clip from what is the second episode. I don't know what it is. The second episode. And
From what turns out to be,
seemingly
the
they're cut up.
second-
The
it
story is
seems
cut up
like
into
the second
24
episode,
distinct
yeah.
pieces. So the second episode, and this is sort of one of the early ones of those conversations in terms of how is it going to work with the two of them? How are they going to survive?
Yeah.
Or are they? So let's play that clip.
What are you thinking, Shinichi?
Should we really stay quiet about this?
What exactly do you mean by stay quiet?
We can't let them run wild. They're killing people left and right.
What do you mean run wild?
Don't you get it? Only we know what they really are. At this rate, there'll be more and more victims every day. Which is why,
Which is why what?
if I take you to them, they can research you and learn what you are.
I don't understand. Your logic's a bit difficult for me to follow. My kind are simply feeding to stay alive and nothing more. It's natural for life forms to feed on other life forms. You just find it unpleasant that it's your own kind that is being eaten.
Well, yeah, of course. Human life is a precious thing, isn't it?
I don't know. I can tell you that I value my own life, although I've never really considered any other life form to be all that valuable.
Yeah, bet you haven't. 'Cause you seem to be more like an animal or an insect.
Shinichi, is that an attempt to be insulting? Understand this. If you were to take action in any way that would be harmful to me, I would have no choice but to do everything in my power to stop you.
Your survival depends on me. You're just a parasite.
I will protect your life. Although, you don't necessarily need to be able to speak. And then, you don't really need to be able to see or hear either. Well, looks like someone's terrified. Perhaps you should maybe take a little rest.
owned. I like the
I like the picture.
the Miggy move sound
That's me
effect.
in the morning behind us.
Every time I move for the rest of the day, I'm just going to go.
Yeah, Miggy moves. When Miggy does something, they have this weird fart noise that they animate. So it's like, I like it.
Yeah. And hopefully you will like Parasite premiering tomorrow night at 1 a.m. Did you like that sweet segue?
You are a killing machine.
That's true. So up next is our question of the week, which is, what's your favorite horror TV show / movie? I don't have too many show / movie picks. It's a stupid joke.
What do you mean?
Pointless.
Oh, you were making a funny.
Not really.
You are a killing machine, my friend.
Yeah,
killing fun, like an inhuman machine. Why don't you go ahead and? I'm going first.
Yes, my guy.
Speaking of fun, so I'm a full disclosure. I'm a horror.
Full person.
I'm a horror buff, and so this was actually hard for me to just narrow down to 3. But we'll be doing this again.
Luckily, it's
in a
just
year.
some of your
next
favorite.
Halloween. So my first favorite horror film / TV show is, of course, Twin Peaks, the all-time classic TV show. Oh my God, we're in the Black Lodge.
We should always be.
Twin Peaks aired way back in 1990 as a one-night movie event, and then that did really well, and so they did a 7-episode first season, which sort of took over and became the water cooler show of that year. And then it came back for a 22-episode, I believe, second season, which kind of got real messy, and people just stopped watching. And then once they solved the murder of Laura Palmer, and then the show went off the air. And now, this year, we heard that roughly 25 years later,
Just like they predicted.
they are making a new Twin Peaks series of, I think, about 10 episodes. David Lynch is back on board and directing every episode, which I'm very excited about. And that's going to be premiering on Showtime, hopefully sometime next year. So Twin Peaks has been re-energized by both the Blu-ray remastered set that came out a year or two ago, and then, of course, David Lynch directing new episodes. I was watching Twin Peaks when I was in college and didn't have a TV, but the pull of the show was so strong that basically every week at the time Twin Peaks was on, the one guy in our dorm who had cable hosted a Twin Peaks viewing party, and we would watch it every single week. So that's how I watched all of Twin Peaks, was in a room with a group of people being like, what the hell? You know, just...
Did you like the guy outside of the fact that he had a television, or was that the only reason?
I don't even remember who it was, so that should answer your question.
Fair enough.
He had a TV. He graciously allowed me to sit in a room with a bunch of people and watch it, and not be the person who was talking and getting shushed, because at one point, when the show was really hot, it was like 30 people crammed into a dorm room. We could have been doing a lot more fun stuff than watching Twin Peaks.
I don't know. That sounds
And then I always, it's something about the show to me. And then I watched the movie Fire Walk with Me, which kind of landed with a thud, but I really like and think is a great horror movie, especially a metaphor for sexual abuse. So I have been fascinated with the show ever since it originally aired. I've rewatched it probably 7, 8, 9 times. I mean, it was on various streaming services, and I would watch it then. I bought the Blu-ray Gold Box. I had the original VHSs, which I wish I had kept, of the entire series. So the broad strokes of Twin Peaks are, it concerns a murder of a girl named Laura Palmer in a very small town in the Pacific Northwest, and the FBI agent Dale Cooper, who comes to investigate her murder. And then basically it broadens into a larger sort of thing about the town itself and about some supernatural villains that are sort of hurting things. So the clip I'm going to show you is from Dale Cooper being in basically a place between worlds, like another dimension, called the Black Lodge, which is where Laura Palmer's spirit is trapped. So you see the show gets real weird real fast. Doesn't explain a lot. You just sort of figure it out. And I think the iconography is unforgettable, and that's one of the reasons the show still had this life. But for people who are questioning whether it's horror, I'm just going to show you this clip, and I really don't think you're going to argue with me. So let's check that out.
Doppelganger!
Noel.
So bananas that was on
national
TV.
On ABC.
Yeah.
So I think David Lynch is a genius for many reasons, but one of the things he does is he turns everyday things into horrific things. So really, the only reason that's scary is because there's a lack of typical logic. It's very much dream logic. Everything was filmed backwards and then run forwards, both the sounds and the video. The strobing light effect, the use of sound design. Like, he's making something horrific using context, not using like gore or, which I think is really interesting.
Yeah, making it so uncomfortable that it's terrifying.
Right. So I've always loved Twin Peaks. Very excited about the new series. And if you haven't seen it, I urge you to watch it and catch up. It's pretty much an unforgettable and hugely influential show.
Holds up much better than 30-something, which I believe immediately followed.
Or Picket Fences. So my second choice is another perennial classic, which is, of course, the Stanley Kubrick, Jack Nicholson version of the Stephen King novel, The Shining.
Name dropper.
That's who made it. I think The Shining is 1975.
That feels early, but I don't know for sure.
Well, we'll figure it out while we watch the clip. But at any rate, The Shining was... it came out, and it wasn't like a big hit, but basically... It's Kubrick's take on a somewhat more pedestrian Stephen King story, although I did like the story. But Kubrick basically did similar to what David Lynch did with Twin Peaks. He uses sort of contextual stuff to make you uncomfortable that heightens the terror. He very much used...
1980.
1980. Oh, there you go. He used asymphonic scores, atonal symphonic scores, and the music is a huge part of it, and the editing. He also used the Steadicam, which creates this, but he used it so much that it creates this sort of weird gliding feeling where nothing feels real. He also uses a lot of long, slow shots, and then he manages to basically put everybody into very, basically surround them with a frame that makes them feel very small as compared to the Overlook Hotel's evil. And then he lets Jack Nicholson go completely bananas with an over-the-top performance. And then he has everyone else turn their performance way down. So that it's like, by the end, everything's ratcheted up. The music, everything he can bring to bear in terms of a filmmaker adds to the horror of it. The story of itself is not really that scary. It's like, there's a hotel, it's possessed by evil spirits, it messes with people, the end. Like, it's not like...
That sounds pretty scary.
So, I want to show, of course, one of the more famous clips, but still a clip today that gives me chills, and I've seen the movie 40 times. So this is Danny Torrance riding his big wheels through the Overlook Hotel and running into an unfortunate friend.
Play with us. Come play with us, Danny. Forever and ever and ever. Remember what Mr. Halloran said? It's just like pictures in a book, Danny. It isn't real.
Oh, it's real, Danny.
When the
It's
creepy
really
little
real.
boy who has a boy who lives in his mouth and talks through his hand is the most sane thing in the scene, you know, it's terrifying.
Yeah, and I love how small Danny was in the frame, and I just love the idea that he saw this horrible vision, and then it's not there anymore, so he's just... Like, I just can't even imagine. And I do love the classical music that's actually sourced from existing classical recordings. I was listening to a lot of the same composers when we were trying to do our Attack on Titan promo, and I recall listening to a bunch of this creepy atonal music
Peed
from
yourself a little?
from like Berlioz and Gorky and these classical composers. And I was staying at a hotel because I was out of town, and the guy came, knocked on my door, and brought me my room service, and I'm blasting this like music, and the guy just looked at me like, cool,
Just
like,
naked, covered in blood.
yeah, like just like, what you doing in here, bud? Like, I'm making a promo. So anyway, that's my second choice, The Shining. And then third, I'm going to just sort of highlight a lesser-known movie that I really love. It's called Kill List, from the director Ben Wheatley. He is an English director. He does all of his movies with his wife. She's either his screenwriter or like they basically partner together on all their movies. And he does a lot of improv stuff. Like his process is very much like a British director, like Ken Loach type thing. He basically blocks scenes and tells people what they're trying to get across, and then lets them sort of get there with their own dialogue through constantly doing rehearsals and stuff. So he brought this very grounded, realistic style of acting and directing to the genre of horror. So Kill List concerns a hitman who has been out of the game for a couple years, not a long time, but a couple years, and he's run out of money and he needs to go back into being a hitman, and he had something bad happen to him in Kiev. His last job went bad, and they don't really say why, but they reference it obliquely. His wife references it. His other hitman that he works with references it, but no one really tells you what happened. Something bad happened. So that's why he's been out. But he's running out of money, and he needs money to maintain their life. He's got a pretty crappy relationship with his wife and child, and he's sort of... So it starts off, and it's like, oh, this is just a typical, like, British lower class sort of movie about people living and working and being married, and then it transforms into this hitman movie, and then it transforms again into this really scary horror movie. So he takes this job with his friend, and it's a multi-part job, and every part of the job they do gets weirder and weirder to, by the end, they're both like, what the hell is going on? And it ends up being a horrible sort of cult that they're caught up with, and I don't want to give away anything else, but it's pretty incredible. There's really nothing else like it, and I think it's one of the better horror movies of the last decade for sure. And still a lot of people don't know about it, but you should see it if you haven't. Here's a trailer which somewhat gets across where this movie goes, but I don't really think there's any way to really understand why it's so unsettling until you watch it.
1, 2, 3. Abracadabra. Bad people. They should suffer.
Yeah.
I've
Terrifying.
not seen that. That looks awesome.
I think you would enjoy it.
I peed myself a little.
I forgot to show something else that I think is awesome. If you haven't seen it,
And truly terrifying.
this is something that shows the power of editing, how you can turn even the scariest thing into something else. So this is one of the early viral remix trailer sensations. Probably the first one I remember being one that everyone sent around.
Yeah.
Called
When you emailed them.
Yeah, when
back
you
and forth.
email them to each other instead of social media. So this is like from 2006. This is called Shining.
Meet Jack Torrance.
I'm outlining a new writing project.
He's a writer looking for inspiration.
Lots of ideas. No good ones.
Meet Danny. He's a kid looking for a dad.
There's hardly anybody to play with around here.
What's up, Doc?
Jack just can't finish his book.
I don't want to sound melodramatic, but there's no way to make it economically feasible. Here's to 5 miserable months.
But now, sometimes what we need the most is just around the corner.
I'm your new foster father. I'd do anything.
Climbing up on Salisbury Hill,
I love it.
I could see the city light. My heart going boom, boom, boom. Son, he said, grab your things, I've come to take you home.
Shining.
So good.
That's
So many
perfect.
perfect moments. The fact that it's Shining and not The Shining.
Yeah,
the
and
music.
then it ends with the guy going Shining in that perfect like douche VO guy way, and
so many horrifying moments that are used as,
recontextualized.
like, sweet romantic.
That's how you cut a trailer, folks. You just make it whatever you want it to be and do it. I love the sometimes line too. I've written many a promo with the sometimes. Back in the day when VO was in every promo, you had a sometimes line in a lot of them. Sometimes you recut a trailer and it becomes
Something else.
the way people do things. Well, that's those are my choices. So, Gil, I'm going to throw it to you.
I accept. I will catch it. And my first choice is Nightmare on Elm Street 3, The Dream Warriors. This movie I saw... I did not see this in the theater. I saw it after probably like 8th grade, where it was like just to the point where you were still sort of scared sometimes, but you were acting tough, and this was the perfect movie for that, where it's like there are some truly, at the time, now it's really just sort of hilariously awesome, but at the time, scary moments.
Nightmare on Elm Street, the movies, I think they do have a surreal...
There's always a
there's
point
some
where
creepy
it's like...
stuff, like the dream
Yeah,
blurring
the fact
into
that it's
reality.
like... it's all just a dream, but you're actually going to die.
Yeah.
Like that, that sort of bit.
Like
and,
when I wake up.
Yeah, to where it's like,
Every
this
day.
is all still just a dream. The scene that we have is the first sort of dream sequence that sort of sets it up, where it's like, oh, this is horrifying, and then they just kick everybody's ass the rest of the time. But let's play this and we can talk a little bit about Nightmare on Elm Street 3.
Hi, what's your name?
Kirsten, what's yours? What is this place?
I gotta go now.
Wait, little girl, don't go in there! Little girl! Little girl?
This is where he takes us.
Come on, we're going.
Freddy's home. Put me down, you're hurting me.
So yeah, that was the first Nightmare on Elm Street. Scared the pants off me.
Ooh, sounds sexy.
Literally. This movie,
I liked it
there's
a
still
lot.
a lot of like creepy nightmare stuff where I was scared, but I like the fact that they're fighting back and there's some hilarious lines, and I just enjoy this movie. Not the movie that has scared me the most, which is clearly A Beautiful Mind, but we'll talk about that on a later
Yes,
episode.
I'd like to talk about that.
But one of my favorite horror movies, and
a
one
good
that
one.
I always enjoy watching round about the Halloween-y times.
Good one. Particularly enjoy the Dokken theme song.
Up next for me is The Fog, and not the piece of shit remake, but the 1980 John Carpenter The Fog.
Not the piece of shit remake.
Which,
accurate.
Yeah, I mean, I think what I like about The Fog is that it probably should be a piece of shit movie, which I think is why the remake was a piece of shit, but John Carpenter is so awesome that it is actually a great movie. Like,
Yeah.
It's much more than the sum of its parts. I mean, it's got a great cast. The score is awesome. Like, the plot is really sort of just like
Spivey Point.
Yeah, like it's.
I mean, people don't really in his canon of early films. It's considered a minor film, but I agree with you. I've always really loved it. I love it's an excellent stylistic exercise.
Yeah, I mean, he shot it so well, and it's really well cast and scored, and I think you sort of see what he's able to do, whereas anybody else would be making the piece of shit remake. So let's check out the trailer. I think this is the original trailer of The Fog.
John Carpenter's The Fog.
This is KB Antonio Bay. Stevie Wayne here, and let me be the first to wish Antonio Bay a happy birthday. We're 100 years old today, and keep a watch out for that fog bank heading in from the east.
100 years ago, between midnight and 1, something unknown came out of the fog. Now it has returned.
Oh, Jesus.
100 years ago, between midnight and 1, something unnatural came out of the fog. Now it has returned. 100 years ago, between midnight and 1, something evil came out of the fog. Now it has returned.
Who's there?
The fog.
Antonio Bay has a curse on it. We're all cursed. There's no water got in here, but something awful cold did.
I think I'll go to Vancouver now. Where's the fog now?
Well, it should be right outside my door now.
Oh, there's something different about this fog. Dan, stay away from the door! Someone listen to me!
Get inside and lock your doors. close your windows. There's something in the fog. Stay away from the fog. From the creator of Halloween, the ultimate experience in terror and suspense. John Carpenter's The Fog, starring Adrienne Barbeau, Jamie Lee Curtis, John Houseman, Janet Leigh as Kathy Williams, and Hal Holbrook as Father Malone. The Fog. What you can't see won't hurt you. It will kill you. Between midnight and 1, it will find you.
Not the greatest trailer ever written, but
The Fog.
Highly enjoyable.
It just kept
movie.
saying,
Check it out.
The Fog.
It's just a series
Do
of...
you understand? It's fog.
The name of the movie is The Fog.
The Fog, and it's fog that fogs up.
But yeah, check it out.
The Fog.
And lastly is a TV show called The Fringe. Or
The
just,
Fringe.
Just Fringe. Which...
My wife's mom always called it The Fringe.
Really?
Yeah. I love The Fringe, baby.
I also love The Fringe. This to me is X-Files taking what I liked best about X-Files, which was sort of the monster of the week sort of shows and the just creepy stuff and not the man is out to get you stuff, and doing it, in my opinion, better than X-Files. I know that that's not the way lots of people think, but it's my opinion, and that's what I sort of don't get paid for on this show. So this is the sort of cold open for one of the episodes. Then that is that sort of creepy Monster of the Week episodes. There's a much bigger story that's in later episodes of Fringe, but this is just sort of like scary things are out there and we don't know what's going on. So let's check it out.
Ladies and gentlemen, we will soon be starting our in-flight movie. We will be coming through with headsets, which are available for purchase for $4. And of course, exact change is always appreciated.
You should...
Excuse me.
I'm trying to help you. But he seems to be on something already.
I need you to do what I say. I'm going into that bathroom. You keep me in there. You keep that door closed. Get whatever sedatives you can as soon as you can.
You go in that bathroom, sir.
I am not messing around! When you get the drugs, you come back. You knock. If I don't answer, or if I do, and what you see isn't me anymore, you keep that door closed. You hear me? You keep me in there, away from the other passengers. Get the drugs. Quick.
Yes, sir, I'll do that.
Yes, sir, but I think 40 minutes is too long. Ladies and gentlemen, we have a passenger who's having a hard time. Please remain calm. Everything's going to be just fine.
What's he doing in there?
I don't know. He just got quiet.
Maybe he passed out.
The captain says we should restrain him, but I've only...
He went Super Saiyan on him and killed everybody. So yeah, that episode's awesome too, because after they go through the open, it comes back and it's like little kids playing on a playground, and then you just see the plane fly over and it smashes into the mountain and catches on fire.
Yeah, Fringe was really good with the body horror episodes. They were a lot about body horror, and then the crazy thing about the show is all of these things ended up having a reason for existing and being tied to an overall story.
Yeah.
But not in a way that you really you needed to know. But there was like a scientific explanation every time for these events. They didn't mess with the supernatural, unlike X-Files, which did.
But yeah, so Fringe, I like it. Check it out if you don't like it.
Agreed. Great
show. What are you going to do? Up next is... Well, that's always an option. Yeah. Up next is our sneak peek at tomorrow night's goodie.
Boy, why aren't we going to talk about the Facebook... Adult Swim and Toonami Facebook picks?
You're totally right. I apologize. Up next is our Adult Swim Facebook.
Let's go ahead and put up on the screen the top 5 Adult Swim Facebook choices.
Which is Babadook.
I like that movie a lot.
I did.
Scary,
movie. Yeah. Insidious 3, nice.
I haven't seen Insidious 3, but I liked Insidious 1 and 2.
We did a fun spot for Insidious 3. Dennis did it. I saw it.
Nice.
With him. Hellraiser, yes. Carnival Souls, yes. Evil Dead. I'm assuming the beginning Evil Dead.
Evil Dead still, it's a goofy movie. Like, it's comedy horror, sort of. It's so over the top. But the original Evil Dead was not. It was supposed to be just scary. And it is scary. There's the idea that you're alone in a cabin in the middle of the woods. And that there's demons coming to kill you is pretty terrifying. And then,
that's
of course,
why I never go into the woods.
Then it became sort of a comedy thing, which I'm very much looking forward to. Ash versus Evil Dead.
Totally.
But great choices, Adult Swim Facebook. Thank you for not trolling for once. When you ask them about horror, they get real serious.
Serious business.
Hey, it's horror, okay?
But
thank
our
you.
Toonami Facebook picks, which is at facebook.com/Toonami. 16 and pregnant. Truly horrifying.
16 and pregnant is horror, but a different kind of more... it's a more... I don't know. It's like it's a existential horror,
Thing, yes. Alien, yes.
The Thing, Alien, yeah.
Paranormal Activity and Insidious, I guess... one or maybe
I was
just
the
in
Insidious Insidious movies.
Insidiousness.
Yeah, I thought Insidious was pretty scary.
Yeah.
And I'm not scared much. Paranormal Activity, I didn't like, but it wigged me out because it's like all about.
Did you not like it because it wigged you out, or you just didn't like it?
No, I didn't like it because it was like cheap piece of shit, like the way it was made. But the concept of like when you're sleeping,
it's coming for you,
getting possessed, like alone in your house, like in your safe space, you suddenly. The person you love is being possessed and by an evil spirit. That's a scary concept, which is why there's so many movies. But it's something about like the way the camera turns on when he's asleep, when they're asleep in the house. It just I would lie in bed and listen to my house at night. Like
the gimmick still got you.
No,
just like,
yeah.
That's the way Blair Witch was like that for me.
I have an overly active imagination. So.
Right after I saw Blair Witch, and it's like that movie wasn't that scary. And then you go home, and it's like, oh, I got to go downstairs to the washing machine. And it's like,
yeah, and you're like, no. That's more about your brain, but still. So now let's go to our sneak peek, which is a
lineup promo
representative
of the new lineup,
because we have a show change, so we are going to have to tell people who haven't been following along,
right? Which is edited by Dave. And,
nice work, Dave.
Well, let's watch it first before we hand it out to him.
All right.
So let's take it away.
The universe expands. Do you hear that sound?
Toonami's going big with a brand new lineup.
Let's break it down for him.
Here they come!
This is the void. Nothingness. Big Bang.
DDP Kai ignites at midnight.
I am the Super Saiyan! Then a Kami got kill cuts in at 12:30.
Terrifying ball of justice! You deserve to be impaled. Parasite infects at 1.
Don't you get it? Only we know what they really are.
Michiko and Hachin move it to 1:30.
If you're God, then I'll be the devil.
Shippuden lights it up at 2.
Boy, you really are good. One Piece dishes it out at 2:30.
Come and get some!
Now I get to have some fun! And Kill la Kill's back on the block at 3.
Toonami, every Saturday night from 12 to 3:30.
Come out and play.
Nice work, Dave.
Like I said.
You're clairvoyant. It's freaking me out a little
somehow
bit.
I knew that it would be good.
I don't know if I entirely trust you
So
anymore.
please check out our new lineup. The current lineup's been doing well. Hopefully with the addition of Parasite replacing Sword Art, you guys will continue to turn in solid numbers.
And now, in an never-ending series of Steve Bloom Has a Sweet-Ass Life Part 700, is this week's Bloom Room, which is a look at HawaiiCon, which we are still available for this coming and subsequent years.
Call or email.
HawaiiCon, we're 1065 William Street.
Yep.
You can send us a postcard.
Yep. Happy to go.
Any way you need to do so.
We would love to come to your con. We're all about whatever your con's about.
We will literally do and say anything that you need.
Yeah.
So just hit us up. But let's check out Steve's time at HawaiiCon.
Hey, Toonami. Out here in Hawaii, Kona to be exact, for this week's edition of the Bloom Room. Join me, won't you? And don't mind the snot in my mask. Toonami, we often talk about the perspective from space. Well, going to a place like Hawaii gave me a chance to put down all the stuff that I normally think is important. Look at nature, experience it fully, look up at the sky, and realize that we're all on a planet in the middle of space, together. So let's act that way. Let's take care of each other and be good to the planet. Until next time, see you on the Bloom Room. Aloha.
You son of a bitch.
I know. I'm just now. I can't even focus.
That's not really fair. We've had a good run with Hawaii for work.
Yeah,
so
it's
and
true.
it's never
Still,
too late.
you
HawaiiCon
can always-
to reach us out.
You can always get more.
Happy to come and talk Toonami or
And then
sit on any panels that you may have.
Our final segment is from Dana, who has graced us with another episode of Mobile on the Move.
You weren't going to. I thought you were going to sing it.
In which she plays a mobile game and reviews it for us. And this week she is going to be playing the black hole of your time, known as Hearthstone, aka the life and money draining master plan
of Blizzard.
So let's check out her Hearthstone review.
Hey everybody, it's Dana, and it's time for Mobile on the Move. Mobile on the Move. Today I'm talking about a game that I put off because I got locked out of my Blizzard.net account. But I'm back and I tried Hearthstone. It's a modern classic, I tell ya. Hearthstone is an FTP, aka free-to-play card game that whispers sweet nothings to players of Warcraft. This started on PC, but this is mobile on the move. I don't have time for my computer all the time. Nope. It's been out for well over a year and an icon on my iPad and iPhone for just about as long. I just finished a shoot in Arlington, Virginia, and comforted my nightly boredom with tutorials of this game. I love this. You make the boredom go away. You may be saying, hey Dana, that kind of looks like Magic the Gathering. Well, yeah, but Hearthstone is so much easier to understand. Less flavor on the cards, more flavor on getting the rounds done. Unlike a tabletop card game, the simplified rules that are already built in just keep you on the rails. You don't argue with your friends about what the rules are. Keep throwing down sheepy cards until you zap your opponent of health. And that's either going to be a CPU in practice or one of the more advanced modes, or another player somewhere across the world. You got your magic creatures, you got your more magicaler persons, you got your even more magicaler spells. What more do you want? Execute! No, my card! No! It works on a gem system. You get gems, you can do stuff. Not enough gems, and you better hope your minions ain't sleeping, because your turn's gonna be over. There are different classes. In one class, you can cut yourself to draw a card. You can heal yourself as a priest. You can deal direct damage regardless of taunt if you're a mage. And then there's druids, which are just forest weirdos. You can unlock different cards, you can crack a pack, you can see that you got no cards that'll help you, and you can move on with your life. There are two ways that I played this, on my iPad and on my iPhone. My iPad is old, and I had to get a personal hotspot from my phone just to get the system to work while I was at work. Then I chugged a whole lot of data. I just chugged 1 gig of data. Why? Hearthstone. Overall, this game's pretty intuitive. When I was on the iPad, I liked it a little better because I could see more of the animations in the little corners. But there also was more of a lag in general when I was on the iPad. I do have like a more souped up advanced iPhone. It handled load times a little better and it fit in my pocket so I could really be on the move. Especially when I was too lazy to hold my tablet. As a fan of the Magic the Gathering online versions, I like noises, I like animation, I like all the cool stuff. And all that was, again, a little laggy on the iPad. But I feel like this is far more accessible than Magic the Gathering. It's easier to digest, it's easier to just pick up, regardless of skill set. I did have to ask myself the big question. Do I want to catch them all? Do I need to catch them all? The big complaint is there's no trading, so catching them all, gonna be really hard unless you grind. 'Cause I'm stuck in a hot dog with you. I'm gonna be honest, I'm not super far into this game. I thought I would be much farther along by the time I did this review, but it is taking me a while, and that's great. Especially for a free game. I'm very, very curious to touch the arena play. They spend so much time kind of getting you ready and riled up for PvP by practicing against CPU players. You can learn what each of the classes do while you're getting ramped up, which is cool. And you can also build decks. That's something that I neglected to do, is build decks and craft cards so far. Excited to get there. I have no idea if I'll spend any money on this. I have no idea if I'll get sucked into the hole. Speaking of which, go ahead and search why Hearthstone is so addictive. I forgot to hit enter. So you probably know better than I do. Final thoughts, you really don't need to drop fat cash whatsoever. You can play the whole thing on the cheap, but come on. It's like that kid who gets magic cards off eBay. If you spend the money, your deck's going to be better. It's just how it is. I'll probably still play it. I had fun getting matched with people who just wanted to write dumb responses back and forth. I like that.
Well played.
Thank you.
I'll show you competition. No, I won't. This is Dana Swanson, aka Dana is a Girl. Hit me up on Twitter. Tell me what you're playing. Send me recommendations. Say hi. Whatever you think. I'll see you at the end, Jason and Gil.
Yes,
So how do you played Hearthstone?
I played Hearthstone. My first experience with Hearthstone was you playing it at the back bar, getting ready for Upfront.
Yeah.
And I was just like, what is this? And you were like, yeah, I mean, you play against it. And I was like, I don't know. And then I played it, and it was like 2 days. I just woke up in like a sweat and hadn't done anything else. I was like, yeah. But yeah, so it's...
And your wallet was drained of $25 buying card decks.
Yeah, so like, oh, no, I can do... I don't need it. Just try one little 99-cent card, and then it's on from there.
I got into a black hole with it for about a month and then bailed. But like I probably spent $50 on decks, played people live, and lost more often than not, but ended up having a good specialized deck, and then being able to win 1 time out of 3 on average, which was pretty good because people will kill you in that game.
Yeah.
So I salute.
Turns out online people are good at games.
So yeah, I salute anyone playing Hearthstone. I'm off Hearthstone. I kicked it. I'm no longer an addict, but
luckily Dana did not yet kick it and knocked out another sweet ass mobile on the move. Thank you, Dana, and thank you for watching. Tune in tomorrow night, or maybe tonight, or maybe last night, depending on when you're watching this episode.
You just confused the shit out of me.
Saturday night at 1 a.m. is the premiere of Parasite, and we will see you every Saturday night, midnight to 3:30 on Toonami. Have a pleasant whatever day this is.
Thanks.
Bye.